And welcome back, listeners and viewers, to another episode of the Unbreakable Podcast Network. Super stoked to be here. Hey, Josie.
Hey, how's it going
How's it going?
all the way over there in Singapore?
It's fabulous. It's fabulous. It's very humid. And, it's very humid and gorgeous here, right? Like, so this is where I'm sitting right
Yeah.
now. Um, executive lounge, drinking tea, and just, you know, over here doing what we do.
Having a good time.
Yeah. It's whiplash though, right? Like, I mean, you get over here and um, your contacts and working across, three continents, and there's like anywhere between 12 to 16 hours time difference between a lot of the people that I'm working with, and so it definitely it's a lot. It's a lot,
Yeah,
and
I
then
bet.
also just trying to stay on top of everything, right? Like so. Um, and here's the crazy part. So I packed my bag and headed out on the road with the impression that I was going to be gone for a full month, 31 days. And so I had to plan for three continents, right? And so my suitcase is like 63 pounds of heels, boots, hoodies, jackets, dresses, skirts, skirts. That packing was so hard for this trip. Just trying to think about, okay, so I'm in Houston for a week, and then it was supposed to be Singapore for 2 weeks, and then from Singapore flying to London, and then London back to Houston. And so we cut the trip short by a week here in Singapore, which is fine. It's good. I get to pit stop home. Um, and so I had to change all of these flights and the accommodations and everything. And that was super overwhelming. Like I, I was like, okay, well, maybe I'll just still go to Europe and see if there's like, business development work or, working on my client projects, but we're just not at a stage where we can jump in quite yet. So I was like, I guess it doesn't make much sense to go over and, bum around Europe. So I make the changes to my flight. It was like trying to find a flight home on like a week's notice from Asia back into Calgary. So I depart tonight, Saturday morning, technically, at 1:25 a.m. and I fly to Hong Kong. And then from there, I fly to San Francisco. And then from there, I fly to Calgary. So I leave
Oof.
1:25 a.m. I arrive home at 12:25 p.m. And then I have Sunday till Thursday, and then I hop on a plane and I head over to London for 10 days. So, and then from there, I go to Houston. So
Yeah,
I don't even have a
Houston's
plane ticket
normal
booked
now,
home
though.
yet. This is, yeah. I don't even have a plane ticket home yet. So we'll get there. We'll get there.
Yeah, that's fine. That's
Crazy.
exciting. What big things have you been doing in Singapore besides your flaming sushi? Anybody follows Kate on there, they'll know what I'm talking about. But
Yes. Yes. Well, so we've, the one thing Singaporeans are known for is the food. The culture here for food is just phenomenal. And when I was here in October, I made some really good contacts and some really great friends. And so I've been taking some of my colleagues on food tours. And it turns out that one of the folks who I am on the same bodybuilding coaching team, Jay Davies, he's No Limits online coaching out of Wales, has a guy here he calls, well, his name's Paul, but he calls him Singapore. And so he is the chef at a place called Sushi Samba. And so we went there and he spoiled the hell out of us. So we get there, it's on the 57th floor of the Capitol Tower in Singapore. And you can probably put a picture in post production of what this tower looks like.
damn,
It's gorgeous. And we get there, he's reserved this beautiful table for us. It's the best view in the house. And, there's a couple of us that are there. And then all of a sudden he's got people pouring champagne for my colleagues and, they're bringing the wine list and, then all of a sudden it's just like there's this big, beautiful tray of ceviche that shows up and some edamame and they have dry ice on the thing. And so they activate the dry ice and it's a whole experience. It's a whole experience. And, so then I just like he came out and we were talking and I messaged him and I was like, listen, we're in really good conversation. I don't want us to have to pause to deal with anything. Just take care of us. Do what you do. And oh my God, he made me look way more important than I actually am. It was exceptional. So yeah, the flaming sushi was dry ice. But then we did a lunch at a place called Yardbird. A friend of mine there. Shout out to Chef Leonard Delgado. He's fabulous, and we got in there, and it's Southern comfort food in Asia, and so like he's got this his lobster mac and cheese. I'll send you the picture so you can put it in post production. Absolutely incredible. Like a whole lobster is sitting on it. Like it's literally it's the craziest thing you'll
Drooling.
ever see. Yeah. So we were there for lunch because we were at the conference, and so we just did a quick lunch and had a lunch meeting there. But the way that they take care of me and how they take care of my guests is just next level. And then of course then we have Ola Ola, which is a shout out to my beauty friend there, Jelen. And she's this beautiful Filipina, and she takes such good care of us. So I had brought a teddy bear, an RCMP teddy bear for her son. He's young, and some maple syrup candies. And so we walked over there and just got to see her really quickly. And it was just like, and the warmth and the reception that you receive is next level. And so, it just kind of comes back to how you build your relationships and how you treat people and how you show up as your authentic self. Because it's not that I go into these places and I spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's that I go in there and I look to make relationships, and I think that's being a global citizen, right? So,
Definitely.
so aside from all of the eating, I mean, we've done, eating, and I'm super proud of myself because, when you're on the road and you're in an off season or an on season, as a bodybuilder, you need to be mindful about what you're putting in your body. And so I'm really grateful for my coach because what he's done is we've got these really well lined opening communication lines. And it was funny because, he was like, anything you need, you just text. If you don't hear from me, phone me. And I'm like, okay, I will be on the other side of the earth. I'm not going to phone you in the middle of the night, but I appreciate it. So I find out that I have to make all the changes to this travel. And I send him one word, and it was pivot in all caps. I shit you not, 20 seconds later, I get a text that says, I'm here.
Damn.
Next level. And so we're going to have him on the podcast. I think you'll love him. And he and I, we negotiated, and I was like, I don't necessarily need anything, but I'm just feeling because I felt this like overwhelming, crushing anxiety of like, holy shit, I had to do all of this in the sense of urgency. And so I laid it all out where I was going to be, what the pivot looked like. And he's like, okay, well, that's a shit show. And I said, okay, I just need to get after it because action kills anxiety. This is a very common theme in Unbreakable, right? And so he was like, I love that. And so we did. I got after it. I got the changes made. And then, but it's been really great. And of course, we did conference stuff and we've been doing business development. We've been out for lunches and dinners and, a lot of meetings and conversation over on the side of the earth. And I've gotten to meet a couple of new managing directors that are going to be joining our team, and building that relationship with them is super important because, the one guy, he's kind of like a global world traveler. He knows everybody everywhere. And the other fellow who's in London. So having these relationships where they're not just superficial, where we're like meeting on Teams and we're like, wow, it's just so good to meet you in this corporate environment. I think that has been an absolute game changer, especially for me. Like I'm a connector. Like that's what I like to
exactly.
do. Right? So yeah, so it's been fantastic. So weekend in Houston was great. And now this week in Singapore is coming to a close. I get to go home. I get to snuggle a puppy, hug some family, wash my laundry. That's exciting. And train in my own gym, which is going to be really great too. Well,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
You've had a pretty packed, I guess 2-3 weeks. It's been
I'm
a
trying to do the
long,
math in my head. It's been a couple of weeks.
yeah, at least 2. That's all I know.
Yeah, and so it'll be off to London soon, and yeah. But in the meantime, what it's afforded me, and this is super exciting, is the ability to get us into this close to publication of Unbreakable.
Yeah, we're almost ready to snap the string on that one.
It's crazy. Well, and one of the things that was announced yesterday was that I'll be going to Bahrain in April to speak at a global World Downstream Forum. and bringing the resilient leader. And so the foundation of what Unbreakable is, we're bringing that to one of the largest forums globally. And I get to do a 90-minute executive workshop pre-conference, which is like, it's crazy to me because I tell the story in Unbreakable of how this program was born, and it was born on a construction site. And it was because we had to do a really uncomfortable, really hard demobilization of about 2,000 people. And we needed to take care of the leadership team after the fact. We needed to put the right tools in their hands to be able to execute on this project. And that program, and I said it in a post on LinkedIn, that program has been delivered to thousands of people in like 2 continents already. And we've introduced concepts of it here in Asia as well. And like this is probably more than I could have ever had a vision for my programming. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the opportunity that my company is providing me to be able to do that. But the World Downstream Forum is going to be very well attended. A lot of leaders across multiple areas of refining. But the World Refining Association, like, they are amped about what it is that we're bringing because they know that this interactive workshop is going to be different than anything that they've ever delivered. And so now the new pivot for me is adapting to a culture I've never been really immersed in.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
Do you
So
find it
I've
hard
already
to
started
switch
learning it.
from continent to continent?
Oh God, yeah. Well,
I
yes,
mean, resilience is resilient, but
it is. It
the
is.
different
Well,
cultures.
absolutely, because when you come into certain cultures, you've got hierarchy, and the hierarchy is what rules. But the ever-changing landscape and faith of our young people are kind of stronger than those hierarchical cultures. Like they exist. And you know, it was interesting. The last time I was here and I was delivering the workshop, the leadership workshop in the last conference here, I had a chef and he said to me, he goes, people are like this. They show you what they want you to see, and then you walk away and they shift. And so when you look at different cultures, some cultures are very much about putting on appearances, and you know, your children must go to medical school or engineering school, or you know, and those are very deeply rooted cultures where you know you have kids who want to be creative, or you have people who want to go into fashion and not become a doctor or a dentist or whatever, and they grapple with that. And the work that I've done in terms of the multi-generational workforce, it challenges the status quo of how people think. And so what I do is I just adjust the content to meet the audience where they are, right? It's not about me coming in and being ignorant and bombastic and trying to westernize, because that's not what it is at all. It's about coming in and bringing the energy that I'm known for, but also giving them the opportunity to be inquisitive, right? To look around corners and say, I haven't seen it like that. And I think that when it comes to our resiliency, when we talk about the things that come out of Unbreakable, we can adjust those things to meet the need of the culture and still help create progress in a really respectful way, right? So it'll be very interesting. But moreover, one of the things that I do need to do is I've got a call out to a female executive who worked for the Saudi Kingdom, and I just said to her, it would be wonderful if we could sit down and have a conversation about appearance, behavior, clothing, language, just to really put me in a position of tact and diplomacy, and to make sure that I'm being respectful of the culture that I'm going in. I think that's important.
That's a big topic too. A lot of people think it's a way to kind of repress people down, but I treat it as a respect thing. I'm planning a trip to Japan, and I actually just realized how many of the cities actually don't like tattoos. And now I'm trying to figure out ways to, and there's still cities, obviously, I want to go and visit. Osaka is, a big one on my list. It has been since I was a little girl, but they're not huge on tattoos, and I will suffer with a long sleeve sweatshirt if I need to and cover up as much as I can. The hands will be a little bit hard, but it's a it's a respect thing. I don't wanna go out into, a whole new country and be like, "This is who I am. Kinda screw you guys." I'm
Absolutely.
educating myself way ahead of time so that I'm not, stepping on people's toes or making them feel out of
Yeah.
place while I'm the person that's visiting there. They shouldn't feel out of place in their own place. And I don't take that as a judgment thing on my end. It's not for them, and that's okay. That's their culture. That's also okay. But I think a lot of people take that in such a harsh, negative way that,
Hmm.
you should be dressing a little bit more covered up depending on which country you're in. Don't show off your tattoos, and, some countries, a lot of them don't like piercings.
Mm,
It's just small little things sometimes that people blow completely out of proportion. Just respect the country you're in.
absolutely. I look at it as well as like I always say to people, like as a consultant, I mean, I've had more first days of work than I think a majority of people ever
Mhm.
have, right? I mean, that's what you do. And the other thing is that as a consultant, you come into an organization and you might be being brought in to do cultural change. And in order to adapt and move that culture forward, you have to understand where they're starting
Mhm.
from. You have to respect that, right? You can't just throw the old out for the new. And I think I have this thing that I say to myself all the time is that when I go into someone's house, if they want me to take my shoes off, I take my shoes off, right? And it's no different than when you go into another country. And I think that in the Western culture, there's this not always, but there can be a belief of how we how we show up, and
Yes.
we are right, and everybody else should conform to us. And it's like, yeah, but wait, why? Why is that
Yeah.
the way? When I go to the Middle East, like they actually came to me, the promoters of the conference came to me and they said, like, we love your headshot, but we need one with your shoulders covered.
Right. And it's just a
Of
culture
course
thing.
you do. Yeah. And so why wouldn't I comply and support them in that, right? It's just
Mhm.
and it was funny because the lady who's organizing it, she said, "Don't ask, it's Middle Eastern things." We said, "No, it's don't dismiss it. Like it's
Yeah.
okay for you to ask for that." I'm coming like literally to the middle of the Middle East. I'm not the norm. I'm not the norm in North America, let
Yeah,
alone in the Middle East.
exactly.
you know, and so it's just I think there's power in acknowledging that, and I think that um that's how you build relationships. That's how you create positive change, right? And what I'm really excited about is we're going to have Unbreakable published by them, and we actually have a very strong following out of the Middle East for Unbreakable,
Yes.
and it is young Gen Z men who are looking for that support. So
I was
I'm really
actually
excited.
telling that to someone today in your company, and it blew his mind. But again, they're the ones that do wanna see the change. They wanna know how to be better, and not saying, you know, "You or I know all the answers to these things," but it's an open book at this point. You kinda make the words your own at this point. They'll see when the book comes out, don't worry. But yeah, it's a go
Social
ahead.
media has changed the way that we behave.
Well,
The
yeah,
world was like
Oliver
this.
was on there.
The world was like this, and now social media has just gone. "Whoop, whoop." And so now
Mhm.
you know what you didn't know, and you know what you didn't have exposure to, and it's like you can't just show people what the possibility is and then not foster that growth. And it is entirely possible to take the concept of Unbreakable and still allow somebody to thrive inside the culture that they've been raised in, that their parents want them to continue to live. It's it's micro changes to bring the best out in yourself, right? And again,
Exactly.
when we bring it forward, it's not about westernism. psychology is psychology is psychology. We respond to change regardless of where we come from or what continent we're on. How
Mhm.
we deal with it is predicated based off of how we were raised and what that culture tells us we should and shouldn't have, right? So I just I think that it's a really really exciting opportunity, and I'm really stoked to be able to have the opportunity. But not only that, but to be bringing the content that I'm bringing. Like it's not just it's not just lip service, and it's not just a technical paper. I, our industries are talking about all of the issues around mental health, well-being, resiliency, problem solving, critical thinking, our multi-generational workforce, and the stressors that people are feeling from you know people retiring, decarbonization,
Mhm.
technology, AI, all of these different things. People are talking about them. Our company is bringing solutions to leaders, and it lies within us.
Yeah.
Wow. So
We are going to have to get Brittany on here one day. She's actually currently going to apply for a TED Talk, and a lot of it has to do
amazing.
with how mental health isn't taken as seriously, but it is such a detrimental, thing that more people need to kinda honor it. Um, she's really good with pain management, that was, like, kind of her focus, and at least here in Canada, yes, we have better health care,
Hmm.
but it's usually only looking at the physical health. But if this, you know, is out of whack, your body follows. So,
Absolutely. You're
we'll
not
get
healthy if
her
you're
on
not
here
mentally well.
one of these days.
Yeah, I love that. We'll definitely do that. And I think people would really appreciate her energy as well.
Yeah, the bull in the china shop energy that she, asked
Yeah,
if I
hey, at least there's a theme. There's a theme here.
Yes.
There's a theme.
She's very
So
hard-headed in a good way.
I think we all are. We're not where we are in
Yeah,
life because we're soft and demure and we just like seaweed in the ocean. We just go with the flow.
exactly.
So super exciting about Unbreakable. But then the other thing, and I want to just let folks know, is we're also going to be publishing an audiobook with Unbreakable.
Mhm.
So we're gonna get our print done, and then we're gonna start. We're actually probably in a position within a week to start putting the print together, and we've got the pricing model sorted out, and so we're not making it unaffordable. We're making it an accessible document for people, a book for everybody to get their hands on. We're gonna do Kindle, and we're gonna do an audiobook. And what's really gonna be cool about the audiobook is I'm gonna have side quests. I have no intention of
Yes.
just reading the book and not sharing more. And so I encourage people to get the it won't be a hard copy cover, but it'll be a hard copy. I encourage people to get the hard copy. Maybe we can come up with a pricing model that you can get kind of a 2-for-1 because the ability to like write in the margins and highlight the things that stand
Mhm.
out and add flags to a hard copy is one thing, but the side quests inside of the book are going to be next level. And so let's put that out there.
Yeah. We'll work that out. I'm
Yeah.
very excited that the finish line is right there. It's been actually almost a year since we even started working together on this whole thing, and I mean, you wrote
Yeah.
the book now over a year ago. It's been a long but very fun, enlightening journey, so I can't wait for other people to be able to read it. It's changed my life in the
Yeah.
last year, just taking little pieces here and there and, building the
Yeah.
content for social media, and I've learned something either about myself or, you know, people outside of me at least once a week, and that's just me, and if I had the
It's
book,
meaningful.
it would be highlighted and notes all over the place 'cause I can't not do that to the books I can't put down or reread on a yearly basis.
Well, it'll be, you're going to get an editor's author pre-order copy because what we're going to do is part of our final process before we actually hit publish and make it available is you and I are going to take it and go through. I'll probably order a handful. Matt Marshall, we've had him on the
Yes.
podcast. I want to make sure he gets one. I'd like to make sure that you and I each have one and we kind of go through and redline it and do one final edit before. before it's done. It's super interesting actually. I've gone through the editing process, and I did a deep, deep edit over the past 2.5 weeks, and oh, there were points in there where I wanted to cry reading my own story.
Yeah. That's when you
Like I
know it
just
hit hard.
oh, and I'm reading this, and I'm like, there are points where I'm reading this, and I'm going, like,
Mhm.
you know, reading the section on conditional love. Go in and read that. Go in and read that section, Josie, and like
Yeah, that's
end
a
to end
hard one for me.
in the. Oh, I just I read it, and it's just like just blows my mind.
Mhm.
It'll
I
it'll be good. So, well, hey, listen. Do we have any listener questions lined up or anything that we want to pull out?
No, we mostly this week actually was a lot of people actually answering the questions that I put up, which is
I
great.
like it.
Uh, let's see.
I do. While you're pulling that up, one of the things I want to do is there's this amazing person in my community, and I just want to give her a shout out. Her name is Marilee Toss, and she's a personal trainer. Lee's story is exceptional. She's just, she's a mental and emotional fighter, and her upbringing hasn't been easy, and she's experienced some, shit in the past, probably 4 weeks that has kind of left her rocked. But she's doing the hard yards and the hard work. It was funny because before the holidays, I went and I bought her a hoodie. I thought, this would be nice. So I got her a zip hoodie because she loves a good hoodie. Yep. And I got her the zip hoodie. Strength is my love language. Um, she had a tough couple of days that really kind of rocked her world a little bit, just at work and stuff. And it all just one thing after the other after the other. And we text, and she messaged me, and I said, well, hey, I've got this gift for you. One day after the gym, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go, and I'm just gonna go and bring it to her because she's kind of down, and really, she's a great mom, and she's a fantastic wife, and she's a good community member. So I stopped by the store and grabbed her this beautiful bouquet of colorful daisies, and stopped by her house and gave her the hoodie, and it was wonderful. It was really cute because she sends me a message. She goes, I love these flowers, but I can't keep them. They're toxic to cats. She's got a couple of kittens, like kitties running around. So she had to give them to somebody else. And she said, I just don't want you to think I'm ungrateful. I was like, absolutely not. But, all this to say, I want to give Marilee a shout out because, and I'd love to tag her when we release, and just, she's doing a really, really great damn job at living life and really growing her mindset. One thing is I have no problem giving my time to people who put the effort in. And she is one of these real ones who, she's light touch. We are banter back and forth every so often. But at the end of the day, she always takes the advice and applies it in a way that's meaningful to her. So yeah, that's Marilee. Marilee, you're doing a great job. I'm really proud of you. Okay, hit me with a question.
What's something you had to unlearn before you could actually grow?
I think the question is, what didn't I have to unlearn? I think I have this saying, and I use it. I think we've actually got it on one of our hoodies. Validation is for progress.
Mhm. And
And
we have
seeking that
stickers.
external, yeah, and we have the stickers too. I hand those out all over the place. Um, I think it's unlearning that you need the approval of other people to be able to live the life that you want. Like, I think when I made that switch, and it was like, I can literally wake up and do whatever I want, and I don't need the permission or approval of other people, because we're conditioned to believe that we need to have somebody who tells us to check the box or to move to the next phase of life or to go into the next phase of career. That was a really, really big, profound space for me. I had to unlearn to look outside of myself to get what I needed. How about
Yeah,
you?
that one's a tough one. That not everyone is out to get you. Like,
Mm, yeah.
disagreement or disagreements especially, like, instead of a banter or, a back and forth, here's my view, here's your view, I always took it as if someone was out to get me. It's like, "Okay, well, you don't agree with mine, like, you don't have to, but why not?" And that was just more so engraved, through my childhood years of this one person that is talking is always right. So your feelings, all these things are invalid along the way. And that, piled up and piled up and piled up. So it's like anybody that comes against the grain, my automatic reaction was, okay, well, what do you have against me? Like, what's the reasoning? Oh, you don't want to hang out with me? Well, why not? You don't want to text me back? Why not? So once I kind of grew out of that and realized that I am not laying claim to anybody else's time or energy. I have claim to my own time and energy, so what I get to do with
Bingo.
all those things, that's on me, and everyone else deserves,
Yeah.
the same. I don't know.
Well, and I think this is such a good one. I think this is one of the ones that I had to unlearn as well, is that not everything is personal, right? And the fact of the matter is, people don't think about you as much as you think they think about you. People are too busy thinking about themselves, right? And
Exactly.
so, and this is something that I think I still grapple with, to be honest with you. I mean, like we all have the things that we have to work on every single day, and I think that one of the things that I have to ask myself is, why would a reasonable and rational human being do, say, exclude, and is it intentional?
Mhm.
This world that we live in is so busy all the time. We have so many things and so many distractions that it is virtually impossible to think that somebody thinks about you the way that
Right.
you think about it. Like the perception of that you have based off of other people's responses or reactions or behaviors. I mean, like that's powerful. That's such
Mhm.
a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Have
Seeking
you ever heard of the
validation
empty
and
boat
thinking
mindset?
the which one?
The empty boat mindset. It's
Yeah,
a
maybe? Question mark?
Taoist parable. So I had to readjust. It's practice for, like, managing anger and stress. So there's
Hmm.
this monk in a boat, and he's out on the lake, he's meditating, and all of a sudden, his eyes are closed, just being one with nature, and a boat hits him. So his automatic reaction is to be angry, but he opens his eyes, he looks, and it's an empty boat. Automatically, his stress went down. And the more I looked into the empty boat mindset, it was like once you choose your response over your reaction,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, in Canada or Alberta, Calgary, for example, road rage is such a huge thing. I'm very internal, and I've also learned I can't control how they drive. I don't know what's going on. Maybe they are in a rush. Maybe a family member's in the hospital. Maybe whatever is happening. But if I choose to react in, a negative, angry way, because I have had anger issues through my life, you're automatically putting your body in a stress response. So this
Hmm.
empty boat theory is just assume it's always an empty boat that hit you. It's not intentional. It's not someone out to get you. It's not, you know, them gunning for you. It just
Right.
happened to be a boat floating along, happened to hit your boat while you were in the middle of meditation, but how you react to it is what you set your body's pace at. So it was an
It's
interesting
such
one.
it's a really great kind of analogy, because like a really great story, because it leads into some of the stuff we talk about in Unbreakable on emotional regulation, right? And really what you're breaking down here is the equation. E plus R equals O, right? The event plus your reaction equals the outcome. And it's like we can literally predict our future, right? And so it's that the ability to tap the brakes, right? And when you come from a space where you've experienced, let's say, workplace bullying, like a toxic work environment, or you've experienced violence in your home, or you've had a really messy breakup, or you've had somebody who is this narcissistic person who is like left those scars on your soul, your mindset inherently, right? We go to those three voices, your little one,
Mhm.
your bitch or your bully, and your wise one. And when you look at the bitch and the bully, their mindset, their primary mindset is one of defensiveness. And it is, I'm going to get them before they get me. And that is, for me, that is my number one starting point when I find myself in conflict. It's
Mm.
crazy that that's where I go. I don't, the little girl is not activated. She is like tucked away. She's safe and sound. She's doing her own thing. But the bitch is the first one because it's not, it's a response. It's an activation of, I need to defend myself because my memories are such that I have not been treated well. Or when I've experienced something like this or that felt like this, there was an essence of this. It was somebody who was nefarious. They were mean. They were slighting. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I have stories about that in Unbreakable. Like, there's a lot of stories about that in Unbreakable. But it's that wise woman. It's the wise one who needs to prevail. And the thing is when you look at the event, what actually happened? Perception is a beautiful thing, but it can
Mhm.
also be a double-edged sword, right? I do this exercise with executives when I'm helping them drive like a very large scale change. And what it is it to suggest that not any one person knows the full scope of anything that's going on around them. All you know is what you know, right?
Exactly.
And that comes from feedback. It comes from people sharing with you. It comes from you asking the right questions. It comes from you being approachable. It comes from you being in the room when decisions are being made. Like there's all of these different things. And so, in order to encourage really strong alignment across leadership teams and really good open communication, what I do is I write the name of a song that everybody would know, right? So, like Hey Jude or Lollipop or, like the ones that are, and then I hand it to one person and they're not allowed to say what it is and they have to rap it out on a table. They have to knock out the song on the table. They know what they're knocking. I know what they're knocking, but to everybody else in the room, it just sounds like bullshit.
Right.
It just sounds like they're like ding, 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 right? But if it's like, hey, Jude, don't be it, right? And so it's like, we do that. And that's a really significant exercise in helping people understand perspective and perception, but also the importance of how we communicate and how we engage with other people. Asking questions for clarity is the number one thing that you can do when you find yourself looking at a boat. Is it empty or is it not?
Yeah. That's like communication 101. The first line is ask
Yeah.
questions
Yeah.
or repeat back what you've heard to see if you
To make sure you get
understand
it right.
what you've
Your
heard.
perception. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and when we ask questions, one of the things it comes from two places, right? So the first one is seeking clarity is one thing, and tone of voice becomes very important in that space.
Mhm.
Because if I were to say to you, Josie, I noticed you didn't get the post up on Monday like you said you were going to, as opposed to, hey, Josie, I noticed that the post didn't go up on Monday like we intended. How like, is everything okay? Did you get everything you needed? Right? Like, those are two very different conversations that are about to start. If I did the
Yeah.
former
One
to you,
puts you up here, one puts you down here.
exactly. But then the secondary part to that is active listening. And active listening is the practice of listening to understand, not to respond. And this is something that very few people are good at. Like this is a constant state of practice for me. And that's okay. I'm okay admitting that because I think very quickly. Like I piece
Mhm.
things together when people are telling me things because that's literally what I get paid to do is I get paid to solve problems. And I get paid to solve problems in high stakes environments, in situations where there's high conflict, where we might have a health and safety issue. Like that's why people come to me. But that
Exactly.
doesn't excuse me from listening to understanding what they're saying versus respond.
Right.
What a
I
great
think you're
question.
pretty
Okay,
pretty good from what I see anyways.
I try. The thing is, though, is that when you're in a situation where your amygdala gets activated, so you're feeling stress, cortisol has started to flow, you're in a high risk environment, or maybe you're feeling emotionally aroused by something and you're not in your right mind, being able, and this is a football thing, focus through the frenzy.
Mhm.
Right? This is fourth quarter mentality where you are pushing yourself to focus on something as opposed to focusing on what you think you should be focusing on. And it's even harder when you're feeling like somebody just jammed their boat into you and they're actually sitting in it, right? So it's like you have to look at all these different things. And when we put the art of practice around all of this, when you do well, stepping back and going, holy smokes, that was a really uncomfortable interaction. And I'm super impressed with how I held my ground on this. I could listen better. I can receive feedback a little different. Let me tell you, I'm going to be vulnerable for a second here. We did 360-degree feedback with our
Mm.
leadership team at work, at the company. the ratings are out of 10. And my sense of urgency and intensity, as rated by the 7 men that I work with, is a 9.6 out of 10.
Pretty
Okay?
high.
Pretty good. And I'm kind of an intense person, I guess. Firstly, we look at my need to nurture. It was a 2.3 out of 10. And so, like, I sat with my executive coach, and he said to me, he goes, they're not good, they're not bad. What it does is it shows you the constraints of where you might be less effective if this perception is what people see of you. Great. I love this. I also hate it, but it's fine. This is the art of progress, really, is what this is. And so he
Exactly.
said to me, he goes, but I want to tell you something. He said, I would much rather have a C-suite like you, where I have to bridle you and tell you to slow down and help you find better ways to engage with your peer group than to have somebody who is the direct opposite, who
Yeah.
doesn't have that sense of urgency, who all they want to do is hand out, kittens and hugs on day one. And, so it's owning those pieces of yourself, and it's saying, okay, I'm humble enough to know that there's always an opportunity to improve. Always.
Of course.
It's interesting because I talked to my team about it, because I'm very open with my team members. And I said, so this is what it was. And all of them were like, what? A 2.3 on nurture rate? They were like, that is crazy. Like, we don't see that. And obviously they get the intensity and the urgency. It's pretty high.
Mhm.
Even for them, I would say they'd probably rate me around an 8. But we're a high performance team. I think that we kind of expect that of each other. But what it is that how I deal and work with individuals who report into me is different than how I interact with my peer group around the table,
Exactly.
right? And so it's interesting because, like, when we look at that, it's like, okay, so there's an opportunity for me to soften the way that I approach things, to listen a little better, to back off, and maybe have a little bit more deference when it comes to decision making and things of that nature. And so, we kind of walked through this stuff, and it was like, when we start to talk about these things, for me, the realizations are that in my previous firm, I was the decision maker, I was the sales engine, I was the delivery person. Like, my role is very different here. And so what this tells me is that I have an opportunity to lean into my team, like the leadership team, and allow them to to support me and for me to lean in. Like, I haven't been a part of a high performance team like this before at this level. So
Yeah,
it's
we
just
were allowed to
very,
share
very,
the load.
yeah. Well, it's so interesting, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to have that level of insight, and I love the honesty that came through the conversations that we were able to have. And I think that what's going to happen is we're going to be a much better team and a much more successful team, because I'm super committed to the progress and the growth to be part of this team, right? Like, I want to to be vulnerable enough to go to somebody and say, hey, I don't have all the answers for this. So yeah,
That's
pretty
some
crazy.
growth right there.
I feel like all I'm doing is growing this year. Write a book about your life, and you will learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Jump on top of, that book's social media, and just you learn a lot about yourself too.
Oh,
This
isn't
year
that
has
the truth?
just been okay, not this year because this year just started, but the previous year has been nonstop, I think, eye-opening, and, yeah, growth in many different aspects of my life, so,
Yeah,
yeah, I feel that sometimes I just feel like my head's spinning. And you
a
gotta
little much.
stop
So
and,
yeah,
chill for a minute,
hit the
but
pause
that's
button.
The fun part about pivoting. Gets too
That's the
chaotic
word of the
over
year.
here, you just go over this way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, do we have another question? Let's see if we've got some time for one more.
Yeah. Hmm. What's the biggest mindset shift you had to make to stop burning out while still performing at a high level?
It's not just about time management, it's about focus management, right? This is
Mm.
a very much a Tim Grover thing, is burnout comes because you're not taking care of yourself. It's you're giving everything to everyone else. And, Matt, he often says, he quotes Abe Lincoln, right? Give me 6 hours to cut down a tree and I'll spend the first 4 sharpening the axe.
Hmm.
And, it's about being okay, not always doing something and being on. I actually saw this thing that was a guy talking about how millennials never know how to take a break because we were, and this is kind of, I'm a millennial, but when I look at it, it resonates well with me because, hustle culture was a really big thing for us when we were growing up. It was,
It's
how
still a
much can you
thing.
do? It is, right? And so the ability to decompress and say, I don't need to be on 100% of the time, creating boundaries and not responding to people. Like where I have actually, there's a whole chapter in Unbreakable talking about the extraction that I've done in my life because of the fact that I had these people who are these energy vampires, and they're good people, they're loving people, they're kind people, but you spend all of this time talking to them and sharing your insight. Like I am the commodity here. Like this right here is what pays my bills, right? So every time that I'm sitting and I'm texting with somebody and I'm video conferencing with somebody and I'm giving them my time and I'm talking them through marital issues or I'm talking to them about how to deal with their siblings or supporting them with an aging parent or whatever it is that I'm giving them, I'm not pouring that into myself. I'm not pouring it into my family, right? And it was just, I found that I had 7 days of stuff going on all the time. I wasn't focusing on the things that made me really happy, like my bodybuilding, in a complete holistic way. Um, and so I think the first thing was the realization you can't change what you don't acknowledge. Also, I say it in the book, I'll say it here, hustle culture is bullshit. There is no
Yeah.
reason why you should not take the time to enjoy your life and to enjoy the people in your life. You do not need to be busy. I had this friend, and she would, in the month of December, she would make a 1-year plan for all of the things she was going to do, and it would tack into her 5-year plan. So it was this constant evolution. I was like, man, can't you just go with the flow? It's just overwhelming. So I think burnout comes when you're not paying attention to the things that require your time and attention, when you're not turning things off, when you're not being a vegetable on a snowy Saturday afternoon. You don't have to shovel the snow 7 times. It's great. The snow will be shoveled. It's fine. It's not a competition.
Or, it's Alberta. It's probably going to go up 20 degrees the next day. So,
Exactly.
yeah.
I stopped shoveling my driveway for that reason. But then the other piece of it is setting those boundaries. Setting boundaries is very uncomfortable. It's very hard,
Hmm.
and because people take it personally, and it's like
Very.
this is like I'm allowed to say I'm not going to do this. And then the other thing is I stopped letting this little box, this little talk box. I'm holding my phone up for those listening. I stopped letting it dictate. If somebody texts me, my standard go-to is, unless it's like my family, the likelihood of you getting a response from me, like there's a handful of people, right? You're obviously in that, Josie, because
Oh,
it's
I
hard.
figured that.
But
You're also
but
on
like
my list of people I'll
yeah,
respond
there,
to.
yeah, and there's people who I just leave on red, and it's not because I'm disrespecting them or that they're not valuable to me. It's that my choice to interact and engage with them comes when I can be fully present with them. And when you look
Exactly.
at the calendar and the day of a life at Kate, I have a period of time where I turn my phone off. Like when I'm home, and I haven't been very good at it this trip. I mean, like particularly the last 7 days has been really hard because I've been working so many
You're
angles
15
of the
hours in the
globe.
difference. So,
Yeah, yeah. And so, I'm doing my best. And that's the thing, is I'm doing my best. I'm still
Mhm.
sleeping as much as I can. I'm eating well. I'm moving my body. I'm giving myself the space to do the things that I need to do that are important to me. But I am sacrificing sleep. I am. And I know that. But that's a decision. I've made that
Yeah.
choice,
It's
right?
not so
I'm
much
not a
of
slave
not
to it.
thinking you need
No.
to.
But that's it, right? And so, like, when I got over to Asia earlier this week, I had said to Aaron, like, you know, I can't even imagine. Like, I think I had, like, by the time I got to my hotel, I had something like 12 text messages, different threads, text threads. And then I had a ream of WhatsApp. And then I had all of my emails. Like, Josie, I have 6 email addresses that information comes
Yeah.
to me from. Also, I'm doing high risk projects right now, went live this week. And I've got team members that I'm growing and that I'm supporting. And then I had a group of team members who are actually traveling through a winter storm in the United States, like all these things. And so it was like, okay, I'm triaging what's important, right? What is important? And I said to Aaron, I was like, sometimes it feels like work.
Mhm.
And I don't ever want to feel like my relationships are work. I mean, yes, relationships are work, but it's like
But a different sense of it, yes.
absolutely. So it's but then I say to myself, the empathetic side of me comes into it, and it's like, um, I'm very well cared for and I'm loved, and the 12 text messages and the 16 WhatsApps and the handful of emails are because people care about me, right? People are not out to inconvenience or make me feel bad or whatever. And so my fundamental thing that I tell people to maintain my sense of balance and my sense of avoidance of burnout is to say, I will respond to you when I can be present with you. And it could be 2 days. It could be 2 days from the time you message me until I get back to it. But I'll tell you, even like coming into 2026, the number of people who messaged me directly on my phone or through LinkedIn who were just like, okay, it's the new year. Let's get together and talk. Let's talk about what's on your agenda. And it's like, well, tap the brakes. I'm still on
Yeah.
vacation. And also, I think I must have left some of those unread for like forever. So then you know what I do is, and God bless her. Shout out to Megan. You're amazing,
I
Megan.
love Megan.
We love Megan. Megan
Yes.
she is the iron wall that just takes care of so many different things. And I value everything about her as a human being, as a mother, as a professional. And she has added so much value to my professional life. And I feel as though my partnership with Megan has elevated me to a completely different space because she's there to provide everything that I held onto myself for so many years. And she's just, she's this beautiful, amazing soul who gets shit done, who asks great questions or doesn't ask questions and just gets shit done. Like, oh my God, we love Megan. Megan, you have changed my life. You know
In
what?
this last I really love Megan.
Yes. And my burnout avoidance strategy is very heavily reliant on Megan and what she brings to the table. It's reliant on you and what you bring to the table. It's reliant on Aaron and Ruth and what they bring to the table, and Ashley and Heather. Like, I am surrounded by an absolute dream team of humans that allow me to serve them, but also allow me to serve myself because they protect my peace, truly. Like, and it's just, I'm invigorated because Megan, we love Megan.
Yes.
Megan, we love you. We know you're watching.
Well, she is, 'cause she already told me I'm a celebrity. Everyone actually has told me I'm a celebrity. Today I was told I have a very nice podcast voice and very nice to listen to. I'm like, "Well, thank you." When I had to pull Kate into this, social media world and start making videos, she pulled back and made me come on to yours too, so you can thank her.
We're a dynamic duo. Yes, we're surrounded by great people. I mean, the partners at the firm, they set me up for success and they give me the space. We'll give Belle a shout out, right? I mean, that man gives me space and allows me to just be my messiest, most unhinged self. Like that man he puts up a shit that I would be like, what is wrong with this human? Like sometimes I'll have a meeting with him and I'll just lay all my shit out and he'll be like, okay, I've got you. And then I'll be laying in bed that night and I'll have like this crazy secondhand embarrassment for myself where I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I did that. And yet the next day we wake up and I go to work and it's just like nothing happened, but the path is clear. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? And it's like, I think so. One of the things that was the hardest was finding the people that you can trust to be a part of that strategy, right? And so I know I just gave everybody like the biggest shout out, but it's just
Yeah,
I'm
you guys are
I'm
all
loved.
welcome.
Yeah, we love
Very
you. Oh man. Final thoughts, Josie. Give me some final thoughts here. What do you do to avoid burnout? What was the hardest thing for you?
allowing myself time. That's
Mm,
getting out of that hustle culture is still a little bit hard for me, but I've learned that it's okay to not be on 24/7. Same thing with the phone. I have an automatic thing that goes on 9 o'clock at night. Certain people's their messages will still come through, and I'll answer them if I have the energy. But what I tell my friends, especially the ones that I text every day, and God, if they are listening, they make so many group chats, and I mute them as soon as they put me in them, and they know this, but they still put me in them. But
group
now,
chat. Yeah.
so many group chat for everything. I love you guys, but we don't need a group chat for everything. They did a one on Snapchat, um, which is great
I stopped
when
using it. I stopped using it. I don't even open it. I'm gonna delete it off my phone. I use it to record gym videos. That's it.
and that's a good one though. I get the baby stuff, but I tell everyone now,
Ah,
if you send me a
fair.
message on Instagram or even a text message or Snapchat or whatever, give me 3 to 5 business days. Do not expect a, reaction or me to even reply, and it's not because I don't wanna talk to you or, nothing malicious. I'm learning that I don't have to spend the energy that I feel I don't have to answer a message, and same thing, I have these wonderful people in my life that if I have the energy, I will 110% answer your message. Maybe not in the moment, but somewhere in my day, you will be answered. Other people, I have left people unread for, sometimes a week at a time. It's just learning that it's okay to step back from your phone or step back from your emails or keep your laptop shut for the weekend. Like,
Yep.
these are all things that I had a really hard time learning because I've always felt like I needed to be on. I need to impress, I need to pump out work, I need to do this, I need to do that. No, sometimes I just need to do nothing at all. Just
Bingo.
chill with my bearded dragon and watch shitty shows on Netflix or Disney or whatever on there. Sometimes you just need a day, and that's okay. Doesn't make me any less of a worker. I think anybody that's worked with me can say that is my shit's always out, it's always on time, usually above and beyond,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't need to work 24/7 to do that anymore.
No,
Take your time, give yourself grace. Those are some huge things too. You got a
absolutely.
bad day, just take the bad day. Doesn't have to be a reason for it. You don't have to dwell on it. Eh, and burnout shouldn't come. You
Yeah,
might
I
feel a
agree.
titch of it, but you won't feel it all.
Absolutely. Yep, that is exactly it. Profound final thought. I love it. This is great.
Mic drop. I'm not gonna
We'll
actually.
be recording the next time you and I record. I'll be in London.
Yes, and we will get your trainer on here as well. You're
Oh yeah,
meeting up with them,
he's
right?
yeah, he and I are gonna. I'm gonna fly into London and then take a train out to Cheltenham, and I'm gonna get to go to the Train by JP gym, which is super like. I mean, anybody who's in the bodybuilding world knows that this is like, it's like next level. And so we're gonna do legs together. We're gonna smash the shit out of legs, and it's gonna be
Cool.
good. And then I'll be back into London for the week, And I'm super excited. I get to go to our creative studio. We've got a creative marketing agency who we work with out of London. So I'm going to go do some production with them and spend some time with them on just being in their studio, but also talking about the brand that we built for the company, which is going to be super exciting. And doing lots of networking stuff for International Energy Week while we're over there, and then back down to Houston. Maybe well, I mean, I think you and I now we've done Texas, Canada, Singapore, will be London next.
Mhm.
We'll have to record when I'm in Brain. That'll be awesome. And
Yeah, that'll be
yeah,
for
and
fun.
yeah, and I'll start to. I carry around my little microphone with me everywhere I go, and I haven't done any conversations or content like that. So I think I'll get back on the bus with that as well pretty quick here, and just
Yes.
when I'm feeling it, and I'm learning a lesson or I'm feeling that gratitude. I think it's important to acknowledge it. And this is one of the things that I kind of a closing thought here. The other day, I get up and I go to the gym and I have a great workout. Cardio is done. Get ready for work. I go and I go to the gym or pardon, get breakfast, and then I meet with my team downstairs. Um, we get into this vehicle and it's like this big van, big cushy leather seats, and I've got this beautiful dress on, and I've got my little bag of stuff and a coffee that somebody's made for me, and I'm driving through downtown Singapore on my way to the Marina Bay Sands Conference Center, and just the overwhelming sense of gratitude of where I come from. You know, this little girl who experienced all these really horrible things as a child in north of Canada. And here I am doing incredible things and bringing this message to a global stage. And it's just, I could never have done it alone. I could never have done it without you, without my family, without the partners in this firm, seeing what I can, like the possibility and potential. And, you know, so those are the moments that I want to feel them, I want to capture them, and I want to share those because I think that um, the ammunition of the heart is what I would call that.
Yeah,
So
100%.
yeah, yeah. So it's good. It's so good. Well, this is awesome. I'm really looking forward to this one coming out. And listeners, keep your questions coming. We want to hear them. We want to give you shout outs. So
Yeah.
share your wins with us. Give us the opportunity to give you the spotlight in this space. And remember, protect your peace, chase your dreams, and stay unbroken.